Lindy grew up with 5 brothers and 1 sister. If you ask them about their relationship with their father, more often than not, they would say that they were scared of their father. Lindy remembers being lined up alongside all of her siblings while her father interrogated them to find out who clogged the toilet. If someone confessed, they would get a spanking, and if nobody said anything, they would all get spanked. This experience and others like it made them fear their father. David grew up with his stepdad, who also used spanking as a form of discipline. David remembers his stepdad losing control and spanking him so hard it would leave marks and bruises. Now that David is an adult, when he sees a kid acting out, he immediately thinks that that kid needs a good beating. Spanking has been a form of discipline in homes and in schools for decades, but it is not the best way to discipline our children. Over the past 3 years, as a marriage and family major, I have taken tests, read articles, books, and studied parenting. I've also been able to implement these things that I am learning as I have been growing my own family. As me and my husband have also been blessed with 2 beautiful little girls. I grew up in a family of 8 kids, so I remember babysitting for as long as I can remember. And back in 2011, I was a full-time nanny to a 2-year-old little girl. So it's safe to say that I am aware of the challenges that come with parenting, raising children, being around kids. The word discipline has the same root word as the word disciple, which means to teach or to guide. It is the parent's responsibility to teach and to guide children into becoming good citizens and hard-working citizens. While spanking, and I'm going to add corporal punishment into this, while spanking and corporal punishment do influence our children's choices, they do not have a lasting positive effect on the children. There are 3 ideas that I'd like to share with you today, and that is that spanking and, again, corporal punishment teaches our children to fear authority, to hide the truth, and it does not stop the unwanted behavior in the long run. Let's begin with the fear of authority. In an article written by Justin Colson titled "Raising Children to Love, Not Fear," he mentions that the quality of a parent-child relationship suffers when there is spanking involved. When you think about a relationship with your parents or a relationship between a child and a parent, you think that there should be trust and love within that relationship. Spanking harms that. Spanking tells the child that you should fear authority. I am your authoritative figure, and you should be afraid to make a mistake because I'm going to cause harm to you. That puts such a dampening fear into that relationship. And when we fear people, we avoid them. So as a child gets spanked by their parent, their authoritative figure, they are going to stop coming to them. And they're going to start hiding things, mistakes that they have made. This is causing that relationship of trust to end and to break. Spanking at home or from a parent also tells the child that if you spank, if you use physical harm, you get what you want. This encourages our children to be bullies and to harm other people to get what they want. Children learn that domination is how we get what we want, and this then escalates at school, within the home, between siblings, and etc. So in summary, relationships with our parents, between parents and children, Children and peers, and even children and educators are very important. Spanking and corporal punishment harm those relationships. They teach to fear authority, and they can teach that domination is how we get what we want. The second point is that spanking teaches a child to lie. Because of the fear that comes with being punished, children will lie to avoid that pain. Nobody likes pain. Oftentimes we don't, when something hurts, we move it, or we try to eliminate any sort of pain. Children do that same thing. Children will do what they need to avoid pain, and that's exactly what spanking is, pain. Once children understand that there is a connection with hiding the truth or with lying and the amount of pain that comes with spanking, that connection then says, I need to make more lies to get away from that spank. So spanking can lead to children lying for fear of being punished. And that third point that I want to talk about is that spanking does not stop the unwanted behavior in the long run. Spanking might stop a child from doing that behavior at that moment, but it can cause for a child to repeat that behavior later on, and it can cause more severe damage in a different form later on in life. The effects of corporal punishment were transient within 10 minutes. Most children, 73%, had resumed the behavior for which they had been punished. This was a study done more recently about the effects of spanking on the brain. And it did not stop the behavior. As it said here, 73% of this study continued to do that behavior soon after the spanking had occurred. Jill Anderson has also found back in just this past year in 2021, she wrote an article called "The Effects of Spanking on the Brain." She has noted that there are connections between spanking in childhood and depression in adulthood, and of several other severe mental illnesses in adults who have been spanked as a child. Spanking and corporal punishment teach our children to fear authority and to bully others to get what they want. They teach our children to hide from the truth and to not tell the truth, to lie, in order to avoid pain. It also teaches our children, it does not change that unwanted behavior. So let us put an end to spanking and corporal punishment. Let us put an end to teaching children to be bullies. Let us put an end to causing harm to our children. Let us end pain from a parent to their child. Let's end spanking. I want everyone here to commit to stop spanking your children and learn other techniques on how to discipline, how to teach, and to guide your children that will have positive and lasting effects.